Welcome back to another lecture on CSS. And last time we talked about the selectors that we use in CSS, such as ID, class, and also element. So today we're going to discuss about colors. So let's move to our colors. Okay, so CSS colors. So there are different color scheme in CSS. So three widely used techniques are as follows. So we use the RGB, hexadecimal, and RGBA. So RGB is red, green, and blue. Hexadecimal is or hex is a hexadecimal value. This starts with sharp or the number sign followed by a six digit, and then we also have the RGBA. It's a RGB with additional A for opacity. Okay. So let's have the first the RGB or red, green, blue color scheme. So this starts with RGB and takes three parameters. So if you're going to see later, so you need to write first RGB and then followed by the three parameters. So these three parameters basically corresponds to the colors red, green, and blue. So the value of each parameters may vary, or each parameter I should say, may vary from 0 to 255. So that those are the values that you can input on those parameters. So let's say for example, you have the RGB 255 for the first parameter, which is for red, and the next two parameters has a value of 0 and 0. So this means that the color we're producing with this combination is red color. Okay, for hexadecimal, this hex code starts with the number sign or the sharp sign or the hashtag and comprised with six values or digits or place value, which are further divided into three sets. So its sets basically corresponds to red, green, and blue. So single set value can vary from 0 to 99, and AA to FF. Okay, so if you're going back to your number system, so we have a hexadecimal values which starts from 0 to 9 and A to F. So, kumbaga, that's 16 in total. Okay, so an example of a hexadecimal value for color scheme is hashtag FF then four zeros. So this means that we have a red color. So we can check that later on. And another color that we use is the RGBA or the red, green, blue, alpha. So it starts with RGBA and takes four parameters. So basically, the first three parameters are for red, green, and blue, and the alpha is the last one or the fourth one. So the values of the three parameters are again has or may vary from 0 to 255, but the last parameter ranges with 0 to 1. So meaning to say, pwede siyang mag-accept ng values na may decimal, so a floating value. So you can have 0.01 to 0.9. So as long as it's not greater than 1 or equal to 1, pwede siya. So I mean, not greater than to 1 is possible na pwede nating ilagay for the alpha parameter. So an example of this is 255,000. So this means red. Okay, so let's try to check the an example of an implementation of using the colors that we have. So Let's take a look at this example. So this is for the first one, which is the RGB. So I have here code on the left side. If you can see, we have a style over here. Ito yung CSS natin. Now what we're gonna do is to just assign the value of color that you'd like to use. So in this case, in this example, we use this kind of color which has a value or hexadecimal value of 8E44 AD, and then a background color of black which corresponds to hashtag for like 6 zeros. And then another example here that we have is center. We created a center, but later on I'll do that for you. So this color has red in color, and then we have a value of 0.5 for alpha, and then the alignment of the text is in center, as you can see over here. And then the background color is also black. So as you can see, they both have black colors. So the H1 element has an amethyst color over a black um, background, and the P tag or the paragraph tag, this one, has a red text color with reduced transparency to 0.5 or the alpha. So that's how you basically use RGBA and hexadecimal, right? So let's try to have an example. Okay. So I am here on this CSS template. Ito din yung ginamit ko from the previous lecture that I made. So um I'll just add a HTML file for colors. Okay, no. Sige, ihiwalay ko na lang siya. I'll just create a new folder inside the CSS template. I'll call it colors. And then in this color, I'll be creating colors.html. And gagawa din ako ng colors.css. So meaning to say, we're going to um, put all the CSS codes inside this colors.css. Okay, controlling the elements inside the colors.html. So first, I'll just do some quick coding here. So here I am going to link my CSS. So link CSS, then I'll call it colors.css. Here I am going to have H1 first. So yung nakalagay sa presentation, welcome to IT Elective 1, and then this paragraph has red text. So welcome to IT Elective. And our P tag has this. So now we're going to design or change the properties of each element. So first, I wanted to change the so sa body, I'll just call it first. Para lang uniform sila in terms of font family. So the font family is, I wanted Arial Helvetica and Sans serifs. Yan lang muna. And then let's target H1 since yun yung ating una. So our H1, I wanted to have a color of the text na amethyst. So your amethyst is hashtag, um, that's hashtag 8E44AD. And then our color or the background color of this H1 would be black or hashtag 6 zeros. So if we're gonna refresh this, I'll just open with live server. So this is the result that we have. So welcome to IT Elective 1. So as you can see, medyo sans serif yung text or font na ginamit dito. Kasi since we used the Helvetica sans serifs and Arial, so kung ano yung kung may absent na font text doon or font style or font in general, sasaluhin yun nung mga susunod na naka-state sa family. Anyway, so yeah, so this color of the text is amethyst o ito yung hashtag na nilagay natin kanina. And then this part, the paragraph, this paragraph has a red text. So what we're going to do is we wanted it to make a red color but with less opacity or less transparency. To do that, what we do is we go back to our code and then change the properties of the p tag. Okay, so let's move on. Let's move back to that. Okay, so here, what we're gonna do is go back to our CSS file, and then we are going to target p. So type in p. So the color is red. So that's gonna be, I think that's FF000. Okay, so no, we're gonna use pala the RGBA. So RGBA 255.00 then point 0.5. So the text align is center, and we want it to have a background color of um, say gray. So uh, pwede din tayong gumamit ng predefined colors. So just like this one. So let's try to save this and also check the result. So the result looks like this. Kinda blinding kasi as you can see, we reduce the transparency to zero point 0.5. So but if we're gonna change or if you're going to remove the transparency or the alpha, what will happen will be, okay, so edit muna natin. So let's make it 0, then save it, and let's go back to the result. Okay, so I think it's because of the background. So I'll change the background first. Medyo nakakaduling yung background niya. So I'll change it anyway to black. We can simply type black, or to use if you wanted to use a hexadecimal value, pwede rin naman. Sharp, then 6 na zeros. Okay. So let's see. Okay. So as you can see, it's more readable than the previous one. Okay. So if you're going to change or put back the point 0, let's try point 0.5, I should say, not point 0. So you will see a result such like this. So yan, hindi na siya ganun katingkad because of the transparency was actually reduced. Okay, so that's how you basically put colors on a text. And then later on, we're going to talk about naman putting colors sa background. Okay? Okay, so let's talk about backgrounds or CSS backgrounds. So There are different ways by which CSS can have an effect on HTML elements. So few of them are as follows. We could use or we could change the background of an element using colors, used to set the color of the background, and we could also use repeat, which used to determine if the image has to repeat or not, and if it is repeating, then how it should do that. So yeah, so we can also change the background using image, and it used to set the image as the background, and the position is used naman to determine the position of the image. So later on, I will be showing some of the list that you can use for for the positions for background or image. And then attachments basically helps in controlling the mechanism of of scrolling. So those are the some of the few that you can use for backgrounds or element backgrounds. Okay, so let's use this implementation. So let's say in this example, if you could see it clearly, so we have a p tag or a paragraph tag, as you can see on this presentation over here. So in this example, we have a p tag with lorem ipsum text. Now, what we're going to do is to put an image background on this p tag. Okay, so dito sa ating p tag, kung makikita nyo, that we use a URL. So this URL is basically the location of the image that you're going to use. So in this case, what we used here is a link from the website or from the internet. So this is the link of this flower that we have. And then what's the position of the background? So yan yung tinatawag nilang position kanina. So the background position is at center, as you can see here, and the background repeat is no repeat. Okay. And then what's the width of the image? It's 100%, and the height of the image is 600 px. So this is 600 px in total. And then the text color of the paragraph is white, and the shadow. So yung may shadow yan. So later and I'll show you what does this mean. Okay. So so let's have an example using the coding. Let's go back here. And then we're going to create some elements na kailangan nating gawan ng um, CSS background. Okay, so let's go to colors.html. So dito ako maglalagay. So let's say instead of p or tag, I'm just gonna use div. Then I'll make it I'll use the class name bg. Okay, so yung div class bg ang ating tatargetan later. So here I have a p tag, and then I'll use lorem ipsum 50. Okay, I'll change lang the view para makita nyo. Yan. And here, what I'm going to do is I'll go here. So I'll call the class that's bg. Okay, so under bg, I'm going to have a text color or color na white. So this is the text color that I'm going to use. And then my background image can be, okay, so I'll go to the browser. So I'll just search any image. Okay, so ganito yung gagawin nyo if you wanted to get a photo from, let's say, from an internet. So just right click that, copy the image address. Okay. And then you go back to your coding and then i-paste mo siya dito. Ayan. So, if you wanted to check if nasa loob siya ng div, yeah, check mo muna siya doon sa iyong CSS. So, one moment. Okay. So, this is the image URL that we're going to use. Make sure that the background dash image yung gamitin yung property for the class BG. And then we're going to add a width. So yung width na gagamitin ko is 100%. Right? And then I'll also set height of, sige, sabihin na natin, probably mga 500 px. So save natin. Check natin kung ano yung pinagbago dun sa ating browser. Okay. So as you can see, we have here the lorem ipsum. Ito yung nasa loob ng p tag. And then ito na yung ating background. Ito yung background ng div. Okay. So, kung mapapansin nyo kanina, di ba nilagayan ko doon or naglagay ako ng text which is nakalagay doon white. Pero yung text nung paragraph is still red. So, bakit gano'n? So, again, naka-general kasi yung ating CSS kanina sa P o sa paragraph tab. So, kung ano man yung nilagay mong sinet mo dun sa general, yun yung pinaka-hierarchy niya, ang mangyayari doon is susundan yun nung lahat ng P sa lahat ng elements na meron kang P. So, to actually customize the text inside this division, kailangan mo muna siyang iset o kailangan mo din siyang iset dito sa ating code. So, paano natin gagawin yon? So, ang gagawin natin is, you just have to call um, that bg p tapos color white. So, mag-change yung color nung ating um, mag-change yung color nung ating paragraph, and then we're also going to remove the background. Okay, remember we have the background color of the paragraph. Ayan, no, kung makikita nyo dito sa part na to, we have that. So I wanted to have it not. Okay, so let's check the result. Okay, ayun, andun pa rin yung background color niya. Anyway, I'll just remove that later. Hindi niya kinagat. So basically, ganun yung itsura ng ating. Ayan, so we have white and then the background color is black. So yeah, so basically that's what you get for uh, changing the properties inside the class. Okay. So to remove that, actually to remove this, ang pwede natin gamitin is tanggalin na lang natin yan dun sa general. So pinaka-general na P. And then if you want to change something on a specific paragraph, background, or what else, ang pwede nyo gawin is dun nyo na lang siya iset dun sa specific class niya. So, ayun. So, kapag babalikan natin yan, ganito na siya. So, kasi tinanggal ko siya dito sa P tag na meron tayo. Okay, yun. Hope you get it. Yeah. So, basically, that's how we can use the background. We can also set, by the way, the position. Okay, so dito sa position, saan ba natin gustong ilagay yung background position ng image? So you just have to put it, let's say, center. And then, ano pa yung isa? We also use the repeat kung gusto niyo ba nauulit yung image. Most of the time, nangyayari to kapag maliit yung image. Tapos, ang gusto mo is nauulit or gusto mo nauulit yung picture na yun kasi maliit nga siya in size. So, you can use the repeat. So, paano ba yun? So, background, hanapin nyo lang yung repeat. So, there are basically values here. You can have inherit, initial, no repeat, repeat, repeat Y, repeat X, and so on and so forth. So, for this time, I just wanted to use no repeat. Okay, so if you're gonna look at, well, wala naman siyang masyadong mag-change dito. But basically, ganito siya. Okay, so let's try to have a smaller picture para ipakita ko sa inyo kung ano yung tinatawag na repeat. Okay, so let's try to create another class over here. So gagawa ko na another division. So I'll call it ice. And here I have an image. Ano, I'll retain it that way. Then punta tayo dito. So class ice. Ice. Then I wanted to have a background image. Tapos URL. So yan, nakuha ko na yan. Yeah, I hope it would show up. Okay, let me just double check the address. Ayun. Okay, so this is the address. Basically ito yung ice. And then I want to have a width of 100% also. And then background repeat. Let's say repeat X or repeat Y. Let's say repeat Y. Okay, so here is the code that I created here. So we have a class ice, and then we used this background image. We set the image. We set the ice. What do you call this? We set the ice with or the class ice with 100% of the entire screen, and then the background position is inherit. And then we use the background repeat x, meaning to say the x-axis. So, yun. And then we set the height of the div ice to 700px. Okay. Then check natin kung gaano kalaki yung size ng image. So, ang gagawin natin, babalikan natin yung sorry. Ito pala, hindi niyo nakita. So, here is the entire CSS code for the eyes. So, I used the background image in this link. Then we have width na 100%, background position inherit, and then the background repeat is repeat X. So X meaning to say this is X, this is Y. Yung X yung pahiga, patayo is yung Y. Okay, and then we have this what we call height na 700px. So if we're going to look at the size of the image, so here look at the image tab. Okay, so ayan, nakalagay dito 640 by 624. So 640, probably this is the width, 624 is the height. Now, to in order for this to show up entirely doon sa ating CSS, what we're going to do is to have it exactly 624 or pwedeng mas higit pa. So that's why if you're gonna look back at the code that we have, yung height na nilagay ko dito is 700px, which is more than 624 ata yung nilagay ko doon. Ay, yung original size nung ating CSS. So that's why then this repeat x naman will basically give you a result na mauulit itong yung mata. So if we're gonna look at the CSS color, okay, yan o. So naulit siya ng ilang beses. So the size of this entire division is 640 ata. And then the height is 624. Yeah. So naulit siya. But if we're going to change the code and remove the repeat, so basically hindi mawawala yung dalawang matang na nakatabi niya. So let's put no repeat. So basically ito na lang siya. Then we can also change the position of the eye. So kung kanina inherit yung ginamit natin, we can put the position to center. So para ma-center siya, just change this value into center. Then let's see the effect. Ayan, so punta siya sa gitna. So that's basically what you can do with it when in terms of a background. So I'll show you more example. Okay, so let's have another example. So I created another file which is called background.css, background.html, I should say. So here we're going to change the background of the whole page. So ilalagay natin siya dun sa body. Okay, so what we're gonna do is go back to our CSS color.css, and then I will be changing the body background color or background image. So okay, so let me just get um an image from the CSS. I mean from the not the CSS but from the Google. So I'll just search um background images. Okay, here. Okay, I'll try to use this one. Although maliit siya. Okay, here na. It's also dark. Yeah, anyway, this I'll use this. So I'll copy the address, copy image address, and then go back to coding, and then I'll change the URL. Okay, so if you're going to, let's say for example, this particular no, no, not this, but the background. Yeah, I am showing a different. Okay, wait lang. Mali yung pinakita ko. So I should show you this one. Okay, anyway, so let's go back to the browser. Okay, so on the so dito lagay ko muna yung link niya. And let's go to the so here. So what we're going to do is ayan, so nag-appear na siya. So ano ba yung ginawa natin sa kanyang CSS? So ang tinarget natin, if we're going back to our um, CSS code here, 'di ba yung body nilagyan natin siya ng image. So yung image natin is galing dito, and then nilagyan natin siya ng background size. So yung background size natin is cover. So ibig sabihin ng cover ay the entire screen will be covered by the image that you have used. So anong klase siyang tapos naglagay din tayo dito if it's a no repeat. So no repeat yung nilagyan natin. That's why if you're going back to the result, so ganito siya. Okay. So that's what we have here. Ayan. So then let's try to add something on it na papatungan natin siya, let's say for example ng H1 ganyan. Okay, so let me go to the coding. Okay. So I added this inside the body of the backgrounds.html. So as you can see, we have the H1 and H2. So meron na tayong existing um, properties or design for H1, but H2 wala pa. So what we're going to do is to make something for H2. Okay, so siguro I'll just put it here below H1. So H2, okay, so gawin natin is yung font size would around be 20 px. And then we could also use ano ba? Yeah, the color probably would be white na lang. And then font family. Okay, so, yun na lang muna. Okay, and then what else? Yeah, pretty much yun lang muna. Okay, so let's try to check the result. Okay. So this is the result that we have. So CSS background, and this uses a background image with a background size cover. Okay. So kung mapapansin nyo, meron siyang background na itim because we already have a property or design for H1. So kung ayaw nyong ma-inherit niya yung H1 na property na nilagay natin sa colors.css, you can also actually change that. If you wanted is you go back to your code and delete the colors na kung saan ito. We don't necessarily have a background for here. So let's save it, and then you can check if may change siya. So basically, yan siya. So that's how you use the background. Okay. So kung mapapansin nyo, medyo malabo yung ating um, ito, itong ating image because it's quite maliit. So you can also change that. You can go back um, to the browser and find a better background image. Okay, let's try to look for one. Okay, I think this one. No, it's maliit then. So you can always just look for this sizing over here if it would have a high, or you can basically use HD, or you can use also mga 1080. So ayan. So if you have, let's say for example this one, so this is quite big, copy natin yan, and then let's go back to our coding, change it. So let's paste it here. So save mo. Then let's check. Okay, let's check, and then we can also put here. Ayan. Then let's check. Ayan. So ganito yung itsura niya. Yeah, so basically that's how background works. Yun lang naman yung mga kailangan nyo malaman about backgrounds. But if you wish to know more, since this is just basic lecture, you can also go back and search sa internet. Marami naman. Okay, so that's for the background. Okay, moving on. We're going to talk this time about the CSS borders. So yeah, so let's talk about what CSS border is. So it helps setting up the border for HTML elements, and there are four properties that is related to borders. We have the width, the style, the color, and the radius. So you can set up the border for specifically top, right, bottom, and left, or you can also club the top and bottom together and have, and the same goes for left and right. So pwedeng ganun yung pag-set ng inyong border. So let's have an example, an implementation. Yeah, by the way, so we can also club the top and bottom together, and the same goes for the left and right. So example for that is, let's say we have border width. Okay, so your border width would be, um you wanted to have a 2px 5px, so meaning to say, so the top and bottom will be 2px, ito yon, yung unang parameter, and then the second one is the left and right. And then you can also do set a single line. Let's say for example, gusto mo border, so you don't need to put width doon. So gusto nyo lagyan ng border na blue, tapos solid yung line na gagamitin mo, and may kapal siya na 2px. You can do is 2px solid blue. Okay, so in this example we have this class box, and then inside of it we have a paragraph, and then what we have style over here is that we used a solid na line. So as you can see, the red one, that's brown pala, and then that's 3px in width, yung kapal ng border, and then the color of the border is brown. And then itong border radius naman is kung paano siya magka-curve. Again, so with regards to border radius, let's say for example, if you have a square um class or width, let's say 200px and 200px, pag gumamit ka ng border radius, mangyayari dun, magiging bilog siya. So I'll show you. Okay, so we're here on the background. So i-edit ko yung background at magdadagdag ako dito ng div circle. Sige, sabihin na lang natin div circle. So that's div circle, and here naman I'm going to use div, let's say square. Okay, so anyway, So, ang gagawin natin is lalagyan natin ng border yung ating division. So, balik tayo dito sa ating colors.css, and then what we're going to do is first, gagawa muna ako ng class circle. Then, I'll set it up with a width of 250 pixels. Sorry, width is 250 pixels. And then yung height ko is 250 pixels. Now, dito papasok yung border. So, kung gusto ko siyang lagyan ng width, let's say for example, sa single line, kung gusto mo siyang gawin in single line, what you can do is i-put first gaano kakapal. So, you can do, let's say, 2 pixels. Tapos, anong klaseng line gusto ko solid. Ayaw ko nung dashed. And then, anong color niya. So, let's say, I want it to be brown. Yung brown na lang. Ganito natin. And then, yung border radius niya is yung 50% nung height and width mo ay magiging circle siya. So, you can also put, kung ayaw mo ng pixels, pwede kang maglagay dito 50%. So, whatever the size of this will be, 50% yung magiging itsura niya. So, let's try to check. Okay, so I will change this border, the color, kasi baka hindi siya makita sa ating browser. So, I'll change it to white na lang muna. Okay. And then, what we're going to do also is maglagay tayo ng image dito. So, lagay tayo ng image. Hiram na lang tayo somewhere. Okay, wait lang. Kukuha ako sa internet. Okay, I'll pick a photo of, hold on. Yeah. So I will be using the picture of Liza Soberano. Okay. So let's try to look at this code. So we have an image inside this class circle, and then ito yung ating link. Then sa colors naman, ang ginawa natin, tinawag natin si class circle. And then yung image naglagay tayo 250px. Yung width, that's meaning to say this is fixed na 200px, and then the height is 200px. Just to make it square. Okay. And then the border radius is 50% of the width and the height. Okay. Then naglagay tayo ng 2px na solid border at white yung kanyang color. So the result of this is this one. So medyo stretch siya kasi yung picture ay hindi naka-equal yung height and width niya. So medyo stretch yung kanya. So I used Liza Soberano's photo in this one. So, yun. Pwede nyo rin siyang paliitan. Let's say, gusto nyo 100px lang. Ilagay nyo dyan 100px. So, ano na yun, mag-a-adjust na yung photo. So, liliit siya. Something like that. So, mukha na siyang pang profile. So, that's how you can use um, yung border. Pwede nyo rin palitan pala yung klase ng line niya. Let's say, di ba nakalagay dito solid? What if you wanted dashed? So, pag dinash nyo yan, ang itsura niyan is ganito. Hindi nyo kita masyado. Okay, let me just zoom in. Ayan. Kapag malapitan, ganito yung itsura niyan. Tapos, pwede nyo rin palitan dotted. So, pag dotted naman, ang itsura niya is let me just refresh. Ayan. So, ganyan yung kanyang itsura. So, that's how you can use that. Border. And then you can also change the color, of course. You can use, let's say, violet. Or let's say, crimson na lang. Crimson. Let's check. Ayan. Yan yung itsura niya. So, that's how you use the borders. So, pretty much yun lang naman yung kailangan niyo malaman when it comes to borders and ayun. So, that is the discussion for today. And my next upload would be something about how to use or how to create a menu or navigation. So just watch that and in conjunction with this one. So again, so thank you for joining me here in this video. I hope you learned something and hope to see you on the next lecture. Bye bye.